Welcome to Tech Artist 41. Well, welcome back if you're a returning person. Well, if you're a returning subscriber or just someone who just wants to watch something. Alright, so I'm going to do something a little different today. And I'm going to create well, just create something here. More so of a illustration. I'm just trying out a new I'm trying out Affinity Photo to see if I can make this work. Because I still have issues with every single program, but that's just the deciding factor of who I am. Because every single program that I've ever... There we go, letter. It could be anything. But every single program that I've ever tried has a flaw with it. And that flaw is usually very simple in in what it really is. So I'm going to start with just the letter paper on Affinity Photo. Affinity Designer is also another program that can use vectors instead of pixels, but it still has some issues in my case, but that's just me. Alright, let's go to brush. So whenever I'm starting with this, I have to go to more, make sure my brush is this, my dynamics, where the size jitter is all the way to 100%. The flow jitter, we'll just leave that at 0. Anything else, not really to mess with. Texture, if you want to add any sort of different techniques. So, you can choose any different type of pattern, and it will repeat that throughout your brush. So you can make it look like charcoal or whatever you want. I don't want to do that. I just want to... And you can't change the size of the brush. So you lose that functionality too, which is unfortunate. So you do have to be careful though. For sketching, you do need a small brush within Affinity Photo. Let's see. Okay. Can I do a... No vector layers or anything like that. Oh well. Alright. I'm just gonna start drawing. Stabilizer. Yeah, no. Every program there's always an issue, isn't there? So if we're drawing a person, yeah, that's... I'm just trying to test this program to see if it's good for live streams, but I feel like I would just need another computer. Wow, don't save. Yep. Full Metal Alchemist. Not associated or anything of it. Let's go to Photoshop. Let's quit all of these. Quit. Don't say that. There's a reason why I use Photoshop rather than any of the other different types of programs. And the reason is it makes it so much easier to draw with rather on a stream rather than using some other type of program, because whenever I deal with any other type of program, it glitches when I'm streaming on the same computer, but I like to do things on the same computer, then I don't have to have multiple different computers. Just makes it so much easier. So, this is the one we did last time. But let me do something new. And I'm going to go differently with a 5x7. Come on. Okay. 9x9, custom 5x7. Okay, there we go. Alright. Always create a layer first before you sketch anything. Okay, I'm stuck on eraser. Good. Alright. Edit. I don't know why my Command Z. Erase. Will that work? That works. Okay. I don't know what's going on. My computer's acting funny. Nothing ever goes right, does it? Okay. Let's see something here. Applications. Ignore all that. First, pen, tablet. Sometimes when I'm dealing with certain things, they screw other things up. So let's see. There we go. Monitor. About. Yeah. Okay. Well, everything seems to be fine. I don't know why it... Okay. And then... There we go. Okay. Okay, good. Alright. Let's change the size just so that it's not so big. For sketching, at least. So let's see, what am I thinking of drawing today? Monsters, females, monster females, usually. Let's go with that. So, no matter if you're drawing a male character or a female character, they always will start out the same. So, a male character can look female, it's just the matter of fact. If they do, you kind of have something there. But, yeah, no. It's just one of those things that, if you have it, it's not the worst thing, but it confuses your audience sometimes. So you have to be very careful and understand that your audience wants something done in a certain way. But, yeah, let me start this out differently. I know I do want to do a teaching series, but I'm sort of preoccupied with my own mind in that sense. And I would have to look for subjects to teach upon. Let's see. But to start drawing, I do start with shapes and all that. I do want to start drawing hands. And whenever you're drawing a hand, always think of a simple shape. So if you're drawing a fist, think of a rectangle and then a bunch of trapezoids. Sort of. Fist doesn't always follow that line, but more in the lines of a trapezoid on the outside, then one box here, and then if you're going down one, a box that way. And then you can't forget the thumb, because you always will need the thumb depending on the hand. So you either need the thumb on the left or the right. And the thumb usually curves outward. So, and sometimes it just goes in front. So when people are drawing a fist, they normally don't draw the hand, unless it is something that they can't hide. So if it's something that they can't hide, just make a fist yourself and mostly just draw what you see. And then from there, you can actually get a better idea. Sometimes just draw someone else and just go to a shop and draw someone. And then face and all that stuff. Everything has its own advantages and disadvantages. So you do have to take everything with a grain of salt. The nice thing about digital drawing is you can easily resize whatever you're drawing. So that does help a lot. You don't have to wait for anything to dry. So let's see. So ears are always with the eyebrows. I don't draw all the lines because I memorized them. Yeah, if you take a lot of art classes, you'll memorize everything. It's like, memorize this, that. But no, yeah, I've taken so many different art classes. Sometimes it is what it is. And you have to find different techniques of how to draw things too. Because an art class will only teach you the basics. And usually when you learn the basics, you learn everything that you need to, but there's always a trick to everything that is learned. And there's some shortcuts, but some things you do have to follow by the book. But actually, let me do that. So let's draw someone with a circle, a rectangle, another rectangle. Actually, to draw a full body person, you take... It's been a while. So, females, I usually start with the hourglass figure, but there are many females that are not hourglass that have a top like this and then a bottom that is a trapezoid. And then there are others that are ovals, others that are even more top heavy in the lightest and best way possible. Sometimes. But it always depends on what type of character you want. So if you want a very distinguished character, you can do many different things to them. And I just like doing females because they're always fun to draw. So, alright, let's just continue with my drawing. And don't mind that, that's just something. Well, it's my electricity going on and off. So let's see. Let's sketch something. So there we are. Refine the figure a little bit. Well, so let's see. And most of this is just a mock-up. And yeah, I'm drawing a male right now, but sometimes it's easier to draw a male before you draw the female, and then from then you take advantage of what you've drawn and then draw what you want to draw. Okay. There we go. Kind of like the ear shape of how it shows this right here. And then right there. Just so many issues with... yeah, there's a bit of a delay. And you wonder why I'm so loony? Well, the fact is, this is my natural state. To be ever and forever loony. But with a little dash of insanity, but insanity is only a subjection to the rule of everything. And with males, you do not draw any prominent features or anything like that. But it's easy to make a male female. And let's see. Let's look for hairstyles. So we go to new window in Safari or whatever. Yeah, compromised passwords. What's really different? Let's see. Sometimes images just on Google Help or whatever search engine you're using. Let's see, we have the nice cut. We have the more rough medium look. We have the curled, well, we have the hair being curled back. We have cornrows. We have the shaggy hair. Swooped to one side. Let's try something else. So let's see. Usually hair, so you can have many different types of hair like that. No. Usually the one swooped to one side helps quite a bit. And you just do this. There we go. But whenever you do it like that, you kind of have to understand that you do it all the way. Not just over the eye, but you kind of just leave this side pretty much bald in a way. And there you have it for male. Now, to turn this male female, take what we have. We got the characteristics. So, layer 4. So you take the same shape. Same ears and all that. Change up the nose a little bit. The lips really do help too. So you curve the lips a little bit more. You make everything a little bit more prominent. You take the eyes and you make them a bit sharper, and then with this, and then the hairstyle is the tricky part with all of this. So we take this, now it's more female, take that, and that, and then make the eyebrows. So the eyebrows can be anything, but the thinner they are, the better. And you don't have to do the lines underneath the eyes. I just do them because it makes them look a little bit older. But then you take the swoopiness and then you refine it quite a bit more. Just keep erasing. Eventually you're just going to redraw this, so don't worry about any mistakes that you make during this stage. And so what you can do from here is leave this bare, just as you had it as, well, as the drawing was originally male. And then you, whenever drawing a female, you do need to make sure on the neck that the neck isn't so thick. If you have a female with a thick neck, that's fine, but you have to do it very, very slightly. And you have to have more curves within her body, less rigid. And there you go. Converted. And then from the horns are the tricky part. So first you draw them how you want them, and then you take that, erase a few lines. So you erase this line, and then you take this and curve it to be basically something that folds in on itself. The way to do horns is very, very simple. Well, simple in my means of what a horn is. You follow what rams and actual goats and all that stuff. And then you just put a slash, and there you go, you have one horn. And you can always copy a horn over to another side with copy and paste and all that stuff. Of course, everything looks flat right now, but once you add lines and textures, so as soon as you add the curves into everything starts to come alive, usually within the horns. So you do have to make sure you put lines in there in order to give a 3D look to any type of horn that you want. But let's see, let's take the lasso, take this part, command, copy, paste, or control C, paste. And the nice thing about everything on Mac, so you line it up, reverse. Ooh, that does look nice. And you set the other horn over here, hit enter, then go back to brush, erase what you do not want, So you do not want this. The line at the bottom, you need to change this. So instead of the way it is right now, you have to do this. There are reasons, and you don't want to have the horns this close either. This is a no. So you take this, Command T, rotate it 90 degrees, well, 45 degrees. Usually right here would be a good spot. Put horn there. More erasing. But okay, brush. Okay. So when it goes off, you do want the horn to show, but you also want to make sure that this part is just over the horn, so the hair actually will go around the horn, and you'll have to redraw that later. This is only the first layer, and then what you do with the other horn, in order to fix it, you have to do a few things. And it's best to put the horns on a separate layer anyway. Man. Copy, paste. Take the one from, let's turn off that layer for the moment, and erase the horn. You must have a horn as a copy, erase the original, but it's always better to have these on different layers, then you can adjust and do all this stuff on its own. But everything does take shape depending on how you actually implement what you want for any type of drawing, or so you have to be very, very careful on it. So you take this, do the same thing, rotate it, and place it there, enter. Sometimes having a different layer does help quite a bit. Then you take off the excess here, and then you change the angle at which the hair is interacting with the horn itself, so that it doesn't look awkward whenever you're drawing, well, whenever you're dealing with it. So and we're going to fix all this later. Well, I am. Same thing with the eyes, you can easily just directly copy too. Let's actually put on some music. Well, not me playing the piano. Yes. There we go. But depending on what you want to draw, this is the closest that you can get. And there you go. You have your own your own drawing. Everyone's drawing will be different. Come on. There we go. And you will need to change the directions of the eyes if you're going to make sure that everything is in the proper orientation and all that. But the reason why I don't do this beforehand, or don't do this at all, is for the fact that, well, the reason why I don't just copy the eyes, because I make them slightly different for the fact that I want to make them slightly different. Because no one's eyes are exactly symmetrical. It is more of a proven fact than what people think. And when it looks symmetrical, it looks off in real life. So that's why you have to kind of immediately change everything as soon as it is symmetrical. So, got layer 4. Okay. Of course, I'm not gonna... Well, I can. I do need to fix the sear, but there's that. I feel like this whole thing is more of a tutorial this time than anything. If you do have any questions, I will ask, well, I will, I will answer. You really don't have to be afraid of me if you're not going to answer anything. That's fine. Some people's earrings, all that stuff. I don't go off of anything whenever I'm drawing because there's nothing I can go off of that will actually benefit me. And it's better if you don't look at anything if you are going to draw anything. Of course, I feel like this is just going to end up being a tutorial anyway, but yeah. It's mostly where people just don't care. Alright. You really don't want plain hair. You always want to stylize it. You never want to stay the same, nor want to keep it to the point where the hair itself is the issue. Oops, wrong layer. Yeah, this is mostly why I don't like dealing with multiple different layers in the first place. And this is also probably another reason why it's better to have. Yeah, not that. Okay. It's better to just have each of the horns on the edge of the head. Makes it so much easier. Down, enter. Then it just looks a lot nicer. Usually horns are on people's heads. There we go. Take that off. I don't know, actually, I feel like giving everything scars because to me, scars on a woman don't look ugly. It's a rite of passage in some cultures, actually. And I'm not even joking on that. Let's see. A scar is sometimes represented to represent the culture or just the type of religion. It doesn't always, but let's see. That's not what I'm going for. I'm going for more of this. But if you're doing scars, it's more of a jagged edge process, where the scar isn't as even as what you would want it to be. So it sort of permeates the skin a little bit. I'm mostly just making her detailed right now just to sort of get a grasp of how I want her to actually look like. Yeah. And usually you don't have an idea in your head of how you want things to look like. Well, most people have to plan things out. Not most people. I don't plan things out anymore. I just think about it. Oh, that might be a good idea. I'll draw that. It's not the most ethical way to do it, but hey, it's just how I draw things. And everything I draw is not exactly the same as most would think. Alright. T. Let's make her a little bigger. I do need to fix the neck. Layer 4. Let's get rid of that neck. Doesn't look quite right. It's mostly why I don't like doing large necks, because they never look right. So I always make it so that the neck is thin, and I do more of this pattern. More to get the sense of how the character is. And then a little better. Yeah, I think she'll do. I'll redraw her later, but just trying to get her shape. Actually, I don't want to transform her. Group and add the stuff underneath it. The skin. But if people asked how I can be an artist when I'm colorblind, well, ask someone else, because I actually I can tell you that I'm not as colorblind as what people would think. I do see most colors of what normal people would see. I just don't see the lightest shades of any of the RGB values. There are colors I cannot see. There's a yellow that I can't even see, even when it's on a piece of paper. But most of the colors that are used in daily life, I can see. Yeah, the reason how I know about the yellow is I went to when I got my driver's license renewed one time, well, I could not see what the color was. And it's like, he can see most colors, my mom said. But yeah, still got it, but it's just one of those things. It's like, there's nothing here. What? It's just one of those moments where, yeah, it kind of happens. So these are more of just generalizations of what I'm trying to see in each area. The eye is probably the best thing I copied, because I can just copy and paste it. So, and then fix the eyeball. That's at least good. Alright, so we got that. Alright. So, are we looking for a brunette? So, a little bit more brown. Yeah, she looks more like a brunette. Okay. And how I can tell what each hair color someone has? Well, every time I draw something, I know exactly what their personality is. I know how they feel, their emotions, their story, their backline, every aspect of them. I know them as a character, so I know them to every extent of who they are. It's weird. I will give you that. It's weird. But it is something that I do. There we go. Baseline there. She might be good in Chained by Fate. And of course, I already have that as one of the webtoons that I'm trying to create. Kind of got a little distracted there, though. Alright, so we got the lips. Let's see. So we have either these blue lips. I don't know, yeah. She kind of looks like she needs blue Alright, there we go. People just go on. Oh, he's streaming. Oh, that's what he's doing. I'm out. That's fine. I don't mind. I don't mind people going on and off of my escapades in that sense of the word. So let's see, we got that. We need to figure out what the eye... Oh, I did like the lime green eyes. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, lime green looks good. It just reminds me of... I know what this reminds me of. It reminds me of a comic book that... I know... oh, Saga. Those characters. It reminds me of them. Yeah, no, one of those mature comics. You can look it up, but it's just one of those things. Alright, and there we have it. We have the eyes looking in one direction, we have the lips, we have the horns. Yeah. There are many different steps to follow on all of this, and every time you draw something, there are always steps. Alright, so we got all the color layers in effect. Group. We'll name this group color. And these will act as our color map in a way. Draft. But you can do the same thing with the male, the one that I was doing earlier. All you have to do is change a few features, like the lips, the nose, and the eyes. And then you can, and the earring. Oh, I forgot the earring. One last thing. The earring must go on top of the layer. Let's see. Brush. Oh, right. It's on black. Gonna make it more red. And we make this a little bit less red. So we do need a little bit of that. And all of this will be adjusted, it's just more placeholders. I don't need to be too accurate on this, because I'm most likely just going to refill it in. Alright, so we have our character. Let's get rid of the background one. And now to redraw her. Alright. My style is quite different than most people, just because of the fact that whenever I draw, my style evolves in different ways. Alright, so brush. Okay. Go back to black. So we take this. Too sensitive. For the more finer touches, you need to use a finer brush. Careful. And make an incision there. And then this one is very, very meticulous because you kind of can't draw the full shape. And then you do the lines. That's for shading. Alright, got that. Got the ear. And you do need to finish it in a way that an ear would actually look. So there we go. I could have chosen so many different careers. Yet I chose drawing. Alright. I always take the hardest route because it's more fun. But I do it with caution. Like everyone should. There you go. That looks better. Kind of have to stylize it sometimes. Let me take the eye. Basically just repeat it in a way. So do the rest later, but you have to make sure whenever you're drawing to make sure it's the same. You don't want to change up anything too much. Too much of a drastic change will always affect the way everything looks. And why am I redrawing this? Why should I redraw this? Well, to put it at that, if you don't redraw it, then you have to erase. And erasing takes a lot more time than just redrawing the whole thing. Sometimes just drawing it outright is the better way to go. And you can choose whatever program you want. You can choose Clip Studio or whatever. Alright, there we go. I just prefer just using Photoshop for now because it is my fallback and I'm trying to get away from it. I'm trying to use Affinity Publisher and Affinity Photo because I do want to move away from Photoshop and use those, but I've had a lot of issues with just using them in general. The first issue is I cannot stream with them, and that's pretty much it, but that's a big issue for me. I need to actually stream with everything that I use. So, yeah. That's a no-go. Let's erase this. Sometimes changing up your character a little bit does help. And there's also another reason why I wanted to use a smaller brush size. That was mostly to make the artwork a little bit thinner, and I have to be more precise on how I draw it. There we go. There we are. She looks pretty. No, she looks beautiful. Alright, let's see. Get rid of that. Clean up that. Make sure the lines are a little bit better. I feel like she needs a nose ring. I don't know what it is about this character. She deserves a nose ring in some instances. Let's see. It matches her. It's like it doesn't add or subtract from her, so some of my characters just look that way, where, yeah, she kind of needs a nose ring. uh, I can always add that in. I can add it in later. Gonna at least change up her nose a little bit, though. Just to make it look a little bit more like a nose. In case I want to add anything else later. Let's see. Go. And the eye. We must complete it. My body has this sort of rule of tracing anything. It does not want to trace certain things. And so I can't let it trace any certain things. Okay. Sometimes just copying the eye is better. Let's see. So the eye's there. So her eye would actually be right here. And we need to add thickness to the eyelash. But yeah. And I don't show certain things with reason, though. Alright, there we go. Just doesn't look right. That's why just copying the eye is better. In this situation, it's a lot better than just and draw it once, don't draw it twice. Make it so that it's easy enough to capture the eyes. And copy, paste, Command T, reverse. And we add that there. And yeah, I wasn't even close. That's why you always have to be careful on how you do things. Layer behind. Just makes it easier if you already have everything drawn out, and to an extent, you kind of already have it done. Alright, so the eye, we're going to look this way. Same thing here. There we go. But you mostly copy the eye just so that everything looks the way it should. There we are. We got the eyebrow. Well, we got the lid above the eyebrow. Then the eyebrow. We do need to draw that in just a little bit. And there we go. But that's why a lot of manga artists just draw the or copy the eye over. Alright. Got that. Now we got the neck. And what I do is this. Put on another layer. Just to follow as a guide, because the first layer doesn't look right. Okay. There we go. Put that layer. Yeah, or fix it, but alright. Been mostly just saying my mind and doing all this, but I'm going to stop there for today. Well, for whatever people watched and went off for. I'm not going to finish this today, but here's what it looks like concluded for so far. I'm still working on her, but she does look like she's practically done. But yeah. Always be careful how you draw things, because everything can always end up in a mess. And I'm just growing tired right now, so I'm done for drawing tonight. Enough teaching and all that. And this will be finished on the next stream. And so that everybody knows, I am going to be streaming on Friday this week. It's not Friday the 13th. Luckily, that's not this month. But no, this is actually not going to be a series, but every time I do start drawing, it'll be slightly different than the last time, because I will do something just out of the blue. But next time we'll deal with these two, and I'll call it a day for today. Well, see you next time on Tech Artist 41. Thanks for joining.